Okay, my Tri-County friends, I really need you to understand that the letter that Carbajal sent to Governor Newsom today, or whenever they did, that he's very public and very proud of, and so is Jordan Cunningham, and so are our Board of Supervisors, is nothing but a performative act to make you like them. The reason that we are in Southern California region and why we are under the same state order as Southern California is because of a mutual aid agreement in which when an ICU area is filled up, the other ICU takes them. So for example, if something horrible happened to us in San Luis Obispo, LA would take us. Right now, horrible things is happening to LA and San Diego, and we're going to take them. We actually have a 800-bed medical setup at Cal Poly to take people if we get overwhelmed. That's not for our population, that's for the Southern California region. A lot of hospitals in our regions, if you go toward the east and up toward the mountains, they don't have ICUs that can handle this. Where do you think those people who get sick and need an ICU are going to go? If they can't go to Los Angeles, we're going to take them. The order is there to make you stay at home, stop socializing, stop being liberal about getting a drink and thinking it's not going to affect you at a bar, or to punish the people who aren't running their businesses safely according to scientific guidelines. They don't expect you to have 100% compliance, but there are so many people in open rebellion at this point that we're in a quiet anarchy, and the only thing they can do, the only thing that governments can do is close us down. I'm saying this as somebody who is affected by my business being completely shut down when we're in purple tier. My business has been closed for 7 of 12 months. I lost one location. This is not an easy end. I also hired a lobbyist. I've talked to California Public Health. I can tell you right now that they're going to ignore that letter. And what that letter is just to make you feel like your representative is doing something. But here's something else. I've written to the county supervisors about discussing tax breaks because my business has heavy tenant improvements and I have to pay a lot of money in taxes this year and next year despite my inability to make money off of the equipment that we're being taxed on. What am I going to do? What are other companies like mine going to do? Okay? I've written to our state representative and he told me that it's basically a monarchy and there's nothing he can do. I asked for a letter because my lobbyist said a letter makes a big difference. He ignored me. His staffers ignored me. I asked our senator to please pay attention to me. I couldn't even get a conversation with them. I'm the head of a coalition of state, of all of my particular industry in the state. And I said, please, as the person who's one of the people that's in charge of this, could you please get me a letter because other people were able to get a letter. They're ignoring me. They could write a letter and it could make a big difference both for my industry, but once we open that door, it can open up for other industries like mine because it'll allow people to start to be able to operate again under their tier system in safe manners. And it will make people not have to operate illegally or whatever you want to call it against the state order to survive. Because here's the other thing. All the state aid is aimed at companies that don't need it. We have aid coming along that says, hey, if you hired back in the fall based off of what you had previous, we'll give you a tax credit. Well, guess what? Tax credits are if you make money, if you're going to be taxed on something. We're not going to be taxed on anything because we didn't make any money, so it doesn't benefit us. They're having aid packages come through based on that, okay? So then let's also talk about PPP. For those of us who were closed during multiple times, the PPP money really just kept some people off of unemployment for a temporary amount of time, but it didn't actually help my business operate, and it didn't keep those people off unemployment for the long run. Let's talk about EIDL. I have 4 entities. 2 of them were funded. One was funded more money than anybody else I know of in my industry and locally, okay? I don't know why. One entity was completely denied. One entity I've been lost for 8 months. I've been appealing it. The same operating cost as the other entity that got all the money, but I only got enough to pay one quarter of my rent. My rent, we have to pay rent. We're keeping our employees intact. I understand how all of it works. We are using science to back any kind of changes we want to make. And we are being very supportive of our medical professionals, because the reason that we have these closures is to keep them from being overwhelmed and to have them not have to make decisions to who will live and who will die. Okay? What are our state representatives doing? Please call them out, and please remember this when they come to the polls, because this is ridiculous. They are not taking action. They are doing performative actions, and I really want you to know that. I want you to know that while there are lots of people out there that are making money off of this or doing fine, and they have some survivor guilt about it, there are also lots of people who are not speaking out about this, and I don't know why, but they need to know. And those people that are keeping their companies running even against the state order, have some sympathy, because not all of them are getting aid. And it's the choice between losing everything or continuing. So we've been put in a really bad position, but your state representatives can do a lot more, and I'm calling you out because this is crazy. You know how to find me. I will support you, and I will take this back if you actually take some action and follow up, but I know better, and I know what you're doing, and I want everyone else to know too.